Welcome to Diamond Niners Weekly for Week 14 of the 2021 season. We're live on YouTube on Wednesday night talking about, follow me here, listen to me, Niner Nation. We're here talking about your 2021 Conference USA regular season champion Charlotte 49ers baseball team. How freaking cool is that? As always, this is Nick, joined by Kevin.
What's up, Niner Nation?
Live from the Haze, Coach Woody.
Hey, Niner Nation, what's up?
And making it all work, Producer Brad.
Hey.
All right, guys, we appreciate everybody tuning in. As always, if you're listening to us live, feel free, jump in on Twitter, jump in on the YouTube chat. You guys have been getting really good about that the last few weeks, and it's added a whole nother level of fun to this. So go ahead, jump in, say hello, ask questions, make comments, whatever's on your mind, jump in the chat. Producer Brad will monitor that for us, and we'll be rolling along here. So a lot of big stuff to talk about. Man, there's so much in 49er baseball to talk about. Let's just do this. Let's just, before we jump in here, how's everybody doing? How we doing, guys?
I'm great, man. Regular season champs clinched it this weekend, and just going to build on it now.
Your kids' baseball seasons are over now too, right? So that's you wrapped that up last week, I think.
We did. We wrapped it up. So my main focus is watching the Niners on their trip to the postseason.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good. Producer Brad, you doing all right?
Yeah, doing just peachy.
All right. Now this is a softball right here. Coach Woody, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great. Yeah, thanks. Just we've got a shortened week here, so podcast has snuck up on me a little bit, but it's been a good short week where we made it back from Texas. We had our second flight cancellation of the year.
Oh boy.
So got some good stories to tell on that one. But we made it back safe and sound, actually on schedule, miraculously, and got back. Had our COVID tested on Monday, and good practice, good kind of recovery day. And yesterday we had a really good practice, good scrimmage with getting some pitchers back there on the mound and some live at bats with our hitters. And then had COVID testing in this morning, as we typically do twice before a series, and then had a really good day before series practice today. And the energy the past 2 days has been as good as it's been all year. So it's been exciting.
Fantastic. If you caught that there, Coach Woody admitted that we snuck up on him. So we're always sneaking up on people. So it's kind of our thing.
It's all good.
Top stories. Okay, let's jump right in. Actually, we got to go back to last week for top story, because there was one that we completely dropped the ball on, but we're going to fix that right now. Niner Nation is always growing and expanding, and some people really take that to the next level. So we're going to call out Coach Tyler Simmons and Coach Austin Miney for growing Niner Nation from the ground up. There was baby news from both respective coaches. We're not getting in any trouble here, folks. This is all Instagram official. So Tyler and Celeste are going to be welcoming baby Simmons, and there's going to be baby Miney coming in August 2021. So, man, Charlotte baseball is just succeeding in everything it takes on these days. How about that, Coach?
Yeah, rule number one: never stop recruiting. So we're working on next year's class. We're working on a few classes ahead. So it's all good.
I bet that Simmons kid's a catcher.
Oh yeah, catcher, power threat, speed on the bases. He's going to be able to do it all.
So there you go. We actually meant to drop that last week, but we got sloppy. So congratulations to both the Simmons crew and the Miney crew for the big news there. So good news all around. So from everybody here, congrats, guys. We're excited for you. All right, moving on. Big every story we have this week is big. Niners named one of 20 finalists to host a regional. That's big. Maybe one of the bigger announcements in program history when you get right down to it, to be honest with you. They're doing things a little differently, folks. If those of you who might be a little new to the process, normally the Monday after the conference tournaments wrap up. It's Selection Monday. Before that, usually like that Sunday, the site host will leak out, or they'll announce the site host so you know where the 16 sites are going to be. They're doing that a little differently this year, and yes, it's because of COVID and all the protocols. So they've gone ahead and announced a list of 20 finalists, of which they will pick 16 once we get closer to time, once we get closer to Selection Monday. But the big news there is that, and we started talking about this last week with Gastonia, but that's a reality now. Gastonia, the home of the brand new home of the Honey Hunters. That's one of the 20 sites. The Niners are in the mix. Tickets are on sale. There's a pre-sale going on right now. You can go to the Honey Hunters website and go ahead and snag tickets. And folks, don't worry about that. If should it not happen, you get your money back, less the transaction fee. Yes, but you get your money back. But a great way, if you're out there right now and you're excited about what's going on, a great way to actually get involved in this and show support for the program and the opportunity to host is to go ahead and reserve some tickets for that potential regional, and go ahead and do that. Head to the Honey Hunters website and go ahead and click on tickets and go ahead and take care of that. So, and let's face it, if you're listening to us, you've probably already done that. But if you haven't, go ahead and take care of that. Coach, huge milestone.
Thanks. Yeah, no, it's, I think we found out right when we got to the ballpark on Friday at Rice, and we kind of try to block this stuff out. You guys know us and how we go about it. It's kind of like one of those things where we've gotten this far without really paying much attention to it. So we just kind of keep our heads down and keep playing and keep competing and keep trying to improve. And so, but you could definitely feel the excitement, the energy throughout the dugout on game one and at Rice, because these guys understand. These guys see the years and the teams on the wall every single day at practice. Going back to 2011 and 2008 and 2007 and et cetera, and just all the great teams that have been playing here, and they want to be in that discussion. This group of players, they want to be in the discussion with all the great teams that have come before here, and they feel, I think the players feel as though they've entered the discussion, but it's time to continue on. So certainly an excitement in the dugout when it's announced, and something we don't take for granted. If you look at the other 19 programs that are listed, it is an impressive list, and we're honored to be listed amongst them. And it has taken everybody to, from administration, support staff, players, coaches, former players, family members. It's taken everybody to accomplish this feat. We've just got to keep going.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned there's 20 sites and a lot of great programs on that list. I'm going to go through them real quick, see if you guys ever heard of these programs. Arizona, Arkansas, Charlotte, East Carolina, Florida, Gonzaga, Louisiana Tech, Mississippi State, Notre Dame, Ole Miss, Oregon, Pittsburgh, South Carolina, Southern Miss, Stanford, TCU, Tennessee, Texas, Texas Tech, Vanderbilt. That's a lot of Omaha visits and a lot of national champions among those programs. Great to see Charlotte listed right next with all those programs. I do have a question, Coach. When the committee has selected Charlotte as one of the 20 finalists, did you guys or administration get any feedback from the committee about our bid?
It sounds like everybody's really excited about it. It's a brand new ballpark with a great seating capacity and brand new LED lights that, and all the amenities, a big video board and 360-degree seating area around the playing surface. So there's a ton of excitement around it. It's in Gastonia, but Gastonia is Charlotte essentially, as far as we all know. There's so many, great baseball towns surrounding the city, and Gastonia is one of them. So nothing but positive feedback as far as the feedback. It's just really up to us and controlling our own destiny and playing, continuing to play at a high level. see what happens.
You know, one thing, and just Kevin, listen to you read that list, man. That gets me fired up. I mean, that doesn't happen by accident. Okay, these are some of the premier baseball programs in the country, and we're mentioned alongside. And that doesn't happen by accident. The other thing I want to go ahead and speaking of feedback, I got some feedback this week. I took some heat for my really Gastonia comments. I just want everybody to know I apologize, and I'm on board. I'm all fired up about this. We're going to Tony's Ice Cream. Okay. And what they were talking about, RO's barbecue too. I've been there, we're on board. We're let's do it. Okay. So if I offended anyone in Gastonia, I'm sorry. But I heard from Mark Colon about Gaston County. I heard from Rob Dibble. We heard from Ricky Foster. We heard from people that live over there, and I'm sorry, guys, my bad. So, all right, there you go. Mea culpa. Let's talk about some more exciting news. And this right now is more immediate. As of right now, the Hayes is open for freaking business.
Yep.
No more of this limited capacity stuff. No more of the it's on. It's on like Donkey Kong. You can go right now. And again, if you're listening to this, you've probably already done this, but you can go to charlotte49ers.com right now, click on the ticket link, and you can buy tickets for tomorrow night's game. You can buy them for Friday night's game, and you can buy them for Saturday afternoon's game. Anything you want. And there are still tickets available. So tell your friends, everybody listening, I know already has tickets. Tell your friends, get out to the Hayes. One, because if you check the weather forecast, it's going to be fantastic. Two, what part of this do you not understand, folks? This is a nationally ranked, nationally recognized team, and these guys deserve every ounce of support that anybody can give them. So, kidnap your neighbors and stuff, whatever you got to do to get people out to the Hayes this weekend. Coach, talk about what the difference in crowd, how that's going to impact the guys and you guys down there in the dugout.
More, we've already felt an increase in energy, right? When we went from, parents and family members standing outside the fences to in pro scouts only to capacity of around 100 to capacity around 180 to gradually slightly more than that. So we've felt a difference just as far as the energy along the way with the season. So, I think that has a lot to do. Maybe we've had such good practices this week. It's energized our guys with even more excitement to play in front of the fan base in Niner Nation and get after it. So, yeah, it's great, and it's a reflection of society and the progress that we've made through. Our doctors, our healthcare providers, and our scientists that have, the last 14, 15 months have worked tirelessly to get us back to this place and even beyond. So, just being able to get back to some of the things that maybe before we took for granted is tremendous.
Hey, Coach, with the stadium opening up, we've got a few questions from others in DMs and all that. One of the questions we got was about the left field line, the seating. Well, not the seating. The area outside the stadium down the left field line has been a popular spot for fans to gather and watch the game. I'm assuming that's open for business as well. I don't know if you're the person to ask for that, but here it is.
Yeah, I'm probably not the person to ask, being that this is the first full capacity we've had since last year's team, and I think I'm good with it. Keep it clean, keep it fun, keep it loud, get after it. I'm all for it. So you can come stand wherever you want as long as you're pulling for the Niners.
I like that. Another thing.
There you go, Austin. That's your answer.
Yeah. Austin win.
But tailgating wasn't mentioned, but I'm assuming we'll be able to gather a little bit and do a little tailgating if necessary.
Anything that falls in line with, CDC and university protocols that have been released, have at it.
One question I did see a lot, and we'll fill this one, is people have been asking about concessions. They've actually been open during the limited capacity. So if you come out and you're going to want a hamburger, a hot dog, Bojangles, water, for those that want that kind of thing, beer, that's all at the concession stand, and it's been there. So now I would not anticipate that changing. I think if you come out to the Hayes this weekend, they're going to sell you a cold drink and something good to eat. So go ahead. No excuses. Let's go ahead and get out there. All right. Now let's talk a little bit. You've got some stories. You alluded to that because we didn't know about the flight cancellations, but you've got some stories from last weekend. Let's talk about last weekend sort of as a whole. Okay. It starts off with on Friday, the breaking news about the host sites. You guys lock up with a W. You lock up a regular season championship, and I don't care what anybody on Twitter from Louisiana Tech or Southern Miss says. I apologize to you all for that, but we're the regular season champions. We didn't make the rules. We just played by them. We've got the 1 seed going in. It's a weird weekend in a lot of ways. Weather's a factor. There's just different things going on. And then it sounds like you guys had some travel difficulties. So what do you want to tell us about your weekend in Houston, Coach?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was neat for me personally from the standpoint of that's the first time I've been to Reckling Park at Rice since I was a freshman in college. So, it's been 17 years since I've been to the ballpark, and it was neat for me because I was a freshman in 2004. So when we went there, they won the national championship in 2003. So I got to see up close and personal a lot of those guys that won the national championship the year before as a freshman. It was my first road trip series. So brought back a lot of memories of seeing Philip Humber punch out 14 of our hitters with the power breaker up to like 97, 17 years ago. And it was just cool being back. It's kind of a cool allure to the ballpark, and you can't help but notice the names. A lot of the names that are on the ballpark wall when you walk in. It's pretty incredible, just the names that have rolled through that program over the last few decades. There's tons of big league all-stars and a few Hall of Famers that have come through that program. So it was just it was neat to be back there. And then it was their last home weekend series of the year, and I believe their season is concluded after last night. However, so they were extremely competitive, as we knew they would be, and fought extremely hard. And, it was a great challenge for us. And, we had to work really hard to come out of there with 2 wins.
Now, what happened? I'm assuming that the weather that impacted Sunday's game impacted your flights. So
the weather. So we got out of there. Sunday, and our flight was originally for about 6:30 p.m. on American flight, and that was canceled. I found that out about an hour before first pitch of the game. So as soon as that happens, Coach Simmons disappears and is no longer available, as he goes to work straight to work on all of our ops, and he does an unbelievable job of handling situations like this. So he's on the phone with our travel agent and our bus drivers and navigating everything and coordinating food and just everything we need to do to get home. So our flight out of Houston at 6:30 was canceled, but we had a connection in Dallas that was about an 8 or 8:30 flight. So the plan was for us to conclude the game, shower, change, and then bus about 4.5 to 5 hours with traffic to Dallas. So we did that. And about 3 hours, we have 2 buses. So about 3 hours into the 5-hour ride to Dallas, we have bus 1 and bus 2, and bus 2's bus driver needed to take a pit stop. So we're in a hurry because of traffic. So bus 2 needs a pit stop. So we stop about 3 hours into the drive, and of course we pick the gas station that has a really steep hill to pull into, and not the one across the street that's really flat with an easy circular roundabout. So we picked the one with the really steep hill. Bus 1 struggles to get into the gas station. Bus 2 has to slow down to basically stop and then start to climb the hill. And the back tire doesn't quite make it up the hill. I mean, it's like off the ground, like the bus sinks and the back tire is off the ground spinning as we enter the gas station. And so, so we coaches get off of bus 1 and bus 2. We look at the situation and we look at each other and immediately say, this is a multi-hour process. We don't have that time. So we unloaded bus 2. We loaded onto bus 1. We all packed in together, and actually it was good energy. It was great. It was nice being on one bus together again, because we really hadn't done much of that this year. So for the last 2 hours, we had a packed bus 1 with all the bags kind of overflowing, and we made the last 2 hour trip with a really great team bonding experience and made it to Dallas in time for our flight, which ultimately got us back home, and we pulled into campus around 1 a.m. and made it back.
With all this name, image, and likeness stuff coming online, I don't think any of our guys or anybody associated with the baseball program is going to get like a deal to be a spokesperson for like a bus line company or something, because every time we get on one, something happens.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like we don't make jokes about it anymore, because as soon as you say something, it might happen. So we try to not talk about any bus scenarios when we're traveling anymore.
Did you immediately like have flashbacks to Miami and FIU? And I mean, you're thinking we're in Houston.
I mean,
Texas.
I took a picture of the back of the bus and sent it to our administration, and they were like, "You got to be kidding me!" I'm like, "Nope, can't make this stuff up." So I don't know what happened to the bus 2 driver. He might still be at the gas station. We pretty much unloaded bus 2, loaded bus 1, and we bolted. So best of luck to, if bus 2 driver is listening to this podcast, I hope you're doing well. I have no idea what happened to him. We just left.
Dang. Just left him.
We had to catch a flight. We were not messing around. Coach Bick was definitely not messing around.
Nah. Toby would have fixed that bus if he had to, wouldn't he?
Yeah, Coach Bick wanted to roll up the sleeves and push it, and I'm like, hey man, like I don't know which direction this bus is going to go whenever that wheel is spinning. We're not getting anywhere near that damage. Like we're going to pack in bus 1 and we're rolling.
Oh man. So that's
2 plane trips this year, and we've had 2 canceled flights. So 2 for 2.
Yeah, maybe it's the airline companies that we need to stay away from, right?
If I would love to know the formula, because the formula we're going with right now usually involves some type of a delay or reroute.
But the bottom line is, you went to Houston with a certain set of goals in mind, and they were accomplished. So came home as the 1 seed. Nothing wrong with that.
Pretty special. That was one of the coolest moments. One of the coolest moments since coaching here was seeing Austin Roses throw that 3-2 heater for strike 3. Seeing our guys celebrate, high five, and then had to confirm real quick with Sean Fox because I didn't want to get some false information. But being able to just give our guys the news that that they had earned the 1 seed in the regular season Conference USA champion title, and then that nobody was gonna be able to take that away from us. They were fired up. That was pretty cool.
Let me ask you a question about that. You brought okay. I got something right here. He brought it up. I was gonna let go. He brought it up. you always talk about Morose's his heart rate, that he's just got a low heart rate up there. Okay, so game 2 on Saturday,
Yep.
bases loaded,
Yep.
extra innings,
Yep.
full count. How was your heart rate? That's what I want to know. I don't care about Austin's heart rate at this point. How was yours?
Mine was fine. I mean, we've got such great players. We've got such great players that I'm so confident and I believe in compared to whoever it is we're playing. When you have special players, man, that slows your heart rate down a lot. And I have total confidence and belief in these guys. So I was fine. Our whole coaching staff was fine because when you prepare and you train and and practice like we do, the game's the fun part.
Yeah, that game was definitely the highlight of the weekend. 7-inning game scheduled, but it ends up going 9. That 8th inning was amazing. Leadoff walk, I think another single, and then they bunted them over. We intentionally walked the next guy to load the bases with 1 out. You bring 5 infielders in, cut the runner off at home. Works out perfectly. Cut the runner out at home, and then the next play, ball to Gino or LeJames Groover third, and gets us out of that 8th inning, which was amazing. And then the Niners take the lead in the 9th with Austin Knight. Another double from him, which is surprising again. And then another insurance run.
When he hits a double.
Yeah, he's leading the country. So, but the Niners get an insurance run, and then close it out in the 9th. It was a great game, great feeling, a great way, like I said, great way to clinch that 1 seed. And I'm sure the guys enjoyed that night.
Yeah, it was pretty special. It was a lot of fun.
Admittedly, Coach, my heart rate was not all that good. I'm being honest. Y'all are all cool and everything, and I wasn't. Feet Davis 26 says Gas House is our house. So you're right, Feet. All right. Hey, we got
that.
Oh man. Don just wrote in with a question that we need to do a whole show on. Don has written a whole nother episode. Question for the 3 of you, other than Diamond Niners video clips: what's your favorite baseball movie? Oh, come on, Don. That's like a whole show. I don't even know if I could pick one. I know Kevin's going Bull Durham.
You can't dodge the hard questions.
Kevin's going Bull Durham, right, Kevin?
I get the tough questions, and I got to answer. You can't dodge the tough questions.
All right. Well, I'm definitely going Bull Durham. That's where I grew up, and I grew up in that ballpark. So it's always a special movie to me, and that's where I started going to baseball games when I was a kid. So that's definitely number 1 on my list.
It's a good one. What's your favorite part of that movie, Kevin?
Favorite part?
My
little league team.
That tells a lot.
There's a lot of teams. Well, my little league teammates were in that movie. A lot of my friends were in that movie, but they were in the helicopter money drop scene. When they dropped the money from the helicopter, all the kids started rushing on the field to pick up the money. So that's probably my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think my favorite part of the movie is there's a few, there's many, but I love the part where Nuke's climbing down the bus and he's talking about how much he loves winning, man. He loves winning. That scene's one of my favorite. And then when the kid tells him to get a hit and he tells him to shut up, I think that's awesome.
That's good.
Yeah, they said that's like the anti-natural, since in the natural the bat boy walks up with the new bat for Roy Hobbs at the end, and it's a great moment in the movie. But in Bull Durham, the bat boy says, "Get a hit, Crash," and he says, "Shut up, kid."
Don, I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm supposed to pick one. I love Bull Durham. I love Major League because I mean, Kevin, that was in our wheelhouse when that came out. I'm gonna go a little different though. Some people are gonna go, I can't believe we picked that, but I'm gonna go A League of Their Own simply because I've watched it in the not so distant past with my daughter, and she loved it. I watched it for the first time, I don't know, within the last year with my daughter, and introduced her to the Rockford Peaches, and she loved it. So that was something we did together. So I'm going to pick A League of Their Own just on that right now. Ask me again tomorrow, and I'll give you a different answer.
That's such a good movie. Tom Hanks is Gina Davis. They're incredible in that movie. I saw that movie in theaters too. It's really cool. And then now you see stuff on social about more and more of the All-American Girls Baseball League, and there's some old footage that pops up on social media from time to time. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool seeing them play and get after it. That's a great movie.
Yeah, it was cool. Maddie really enjoyed it, so I'll go with that. It avoids. I'm avoiding being cliche, maybe. I don't know, or maybe by doing that, I'm being cliche. Okay, Don, I hope that works. Brad, do you have you got to weigh in on this? You got a favorite baseball movie?
I had to think what movies I had seen that were baseball movies, and I think really the only thing I could go with is Major League. I mean, A League of Our Own was good. All I could think of is There's No Crying in Baseball. Yeah. But I'm going to go Major League.
Major League's a solid choice.
Because
Major League's a great choice.
I feel like there's this comedy element that should go with baseball, right? You shouldn't take life too serious. So.
Yeah. And you hang around our team enough, that would fall directly in line with that. Because we had Aaron McKeithen playing shortstop yesterday in our scrimmage. That was comical. Hunter Baker jumped in there as well. That was funny. But I would say, for me, I would say the two that I always stop on are Field of Dreams and For the Love of the Game. If those are on MLB Network, I kind of can't change the channel. Those are two of my all-time favorites. Both Kevin
Clayton in Charlotte says Love of the Game.
What's that?
Clayton in Charlotte says Love of the Game.
Yep. It's a good one.
Here's the thing. If we have this debate, I don't think this is one of those. There are debates where there are wrong answers. I'm not sure there's a wrong answer to this. I mean, because has anybody named a bad movie yet?
I will say I think The Natural is overrated. I have a tough time making it all the way through that movie. I don't know.
It would be further down my list. I'm not going to say it's a bad movie, and I don't think you are either.
I'm not saying it's bad, but people list it pretty high in baseball.
Yeah.
I just have a tough time making it all the way through compared to the other ones.
Anybody remember Rookie of the Year?
Oh yeah,
great movie.
With Daniel Stern makes that whole movie. The pitching coach, he gets stuck between the doors of the hotel, and then he's taking BP and he knocks himself out of it.
He's got the three R's, man: readiness, recuperation, and conditioning.
Yeah. Yeah. Feet says original Bad News Bears. He chimed in. I mean, there's.
Classic. I like the Bad News Bears when you go to Houston and play in the Astro game. I like that one.
Yeah. I like that one too.
Maybe what we need to do is figure out a baseball movie that we don't like. Because I like everything that's been mentioned. I haven't heard one.
Oh, that's easy. That's easy.
Okay. That's it. Oh, yeah.
Major League. Back to the minors.
Honestly, here's the deal. And I know we're way derailed, folks listening at home. I'm about to fix it. But here's the deal. It's almost not – it is almost not even Major League Three's fault. Movies, for the most part, should not have sequels. Most sequels should have never been made. And there is not a third part. I dare anybody. There is not a third part that should have ever been made. It's like The Godfather. Okay, The Godfather, fantastic. The sequel to The Godfather, it stands up on its own. But then The Godfather 3, don't ever watch The Godfather 3. If it is on TV, don't just stop. Don't just change the channel. Like destroy your TV or something. Okay, because it's now cursed. Don't ever watch that. Movies don't need thirds.
Little Big League's a good one.
Don't need thirds. Don says there are wrong answers and that Kevin's right. Of course Kevin's right, Don. That's why he's on the show. Because Kevin's here to be right.
Mr. Baseball's classic.
Mr. Baseball.
How about
Mr. 3000 is one of the negative ones.
Yeah, the Bernie Mac. That's Mr. 3000, the Bernie Mac movie. Rest in peace.
That's not a. Well, we could talk about this all day, I think.
Yeah,
it could be a whole show.
Don derailed this show. We're talking about Charlotte 49ers. I blame you, Don. Okay, let's fix it.
I'm a Jimmy Fallon fan. I like the. I'm a fan of that.
Kevin, why don't you tell us about where the Niners are situated in the national rankings this week?
All right.
You're talking movies.
Coach, you can go look up your movies, and we'll talk about these rankings real quick. Baseball America has a 16th in the country this week. But USA Today coaches poll, we're 19th in the NCBWA poll, 21st in perfect game, 22nd in the D1 baseball poll, and 24th in the collegiate baseball poll. So Niners are still getting a lot of national recognition, deservedly so. They're putting wins in the win column and getting recognized for it. So there you go. That's our weekly Charlotte 49ers rankings.
Our weekly update on things that Woody doesn't care about.
We won't get into projections. We won't get into projections.
Yeah, we're not even going to hit you with projections. I will say this though, Kevin.
Nobody's going to remember who was ranked week 14 in the that doesn't go on the wall anywhere. I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, it's awesome.
I got you. I will say this, Kevin. It's interesting to watch. We've been watching this for a while now. We started slow with Baseball America. Baseball America took a while to warm up to us, but now that's the poll we're the highest in. It's like they're that horse at the back of the pack that just started making its way through the field. And now they're nose out front because they're 3 ahead of USA Today. So kind of interesting. I don't quite know the dynamics behind that, but they were slow to come around, but now they got a 16th. So we love you, Baseball America. We didn't used to, but now we do.
Teddy Cahill, those guys do an awesome job.
Yeah. So let's we were going to touch on this. This was going to be senior recognition weekend coming up, but it ended up being last weekend, and we really didn't have a chance to talk about it. We got a chance to mention it, but everything's weird this year because of the eligibility issues and everything like that. So there were actually 2 recognitions on Saturday. They did graduates, and then there were seniors recognized on Sunday 2 weeks ago at the Hayes. We did want to take a minute here and just recognize some of these guys and talk about them just to give them sort of our customary usual shout out as seniors in the program. We'll start with Nick Turnbull and give Nick a shout out. He's actually the first recruit that committed to this staff, if we have that correct. And in storybook format, Nick came in on senior day and threw four no-hit innings against Marshall on senior day in front of his family. So that was a pretty cool moment for Nick. That's the way you drew it up, right, Coach?
That was special because, like you said, his family was there. Our coaching staff knew his family was there, and he just really thrown the ball well in his previous outing and in scrimmages leading up to that, and threw the ball really well in Houston. So he's really reemerged as an important part of our bullpen. And like you said, on senior day, that was really great. And he was the first player to commit to our coaching staff as a transfer from Maryland. And the neat thing about that is he took a visit to, we made him an offer and he said, I just need to visit one more school before I make a decision. He visited Marshall, and I said, and I still make fun of him about that, just because he drug it out a little bit and made us work for it. obviously ultimately he chose Charlotte, and but it was, Nick is such a great player, pitcher, and representative of our program, and he is a guy that I couldn't be more excited with how he is pitching down the stretch here for us. It's really cool to see.
All right. Another senior pitcher that was honored last week against Marshall, Ryan Shanskowski. He's been there for 3 seasons, I guess 2.5, counting the 2020 shortened season. Started a lot of games for us, pitched a lot of innings, got a lot of big wins for the Niners. He was one of the first players to earn the gold standard locker by the coaching staff. Coach, talk a little bit about Ryan Shanskowski and what he's meant to the program.
Chance is just a warrior. He's tough as nails. He's going to compete as hard as anybody, whether he feels great or is tired or has thrown consecutive days or whatever it is. He's going to give you all he's got every time the ball's in his hand. He's one of the first guys at the yard every day. He's one of the last guys to leave. He's always working on the mound with the guys, and in the bullpen, he's always front and center. Kind of keeping guys focused, but keeping guys loose, and that's important. So he's just, he's a great representative of our program, and I'm really excited for him to continue to pitch more and more here for us down the stretch. As like I said, he's a really tough bullpen arm for us, and made one of the biggest pitches of our season there down there at FIU to strand the bases loaded and get us on the bus with a 4-game sweep. So never forget that.
Yeah, big moments there. And I mean, and really you kind of expect that out of your upperclassmen, your leadership. Kevin, last year when we were coming up with shows to keep going, apparently we should have done a movie show, because the comments are still coming in on baseball movies. We've got a negative review on the movie starring Clint Eastwood as a scout. Ugh, I believe that was called Trouble with the Curve. So there's some negative feedback for Clint Eastwood, which I gotta be honest with you, I haven't seen Trouble with the Curve either.
The previews would that review.
I think
you saw it, Kevin.
I think Amy Adams is in
I've seen it. It's a good. Justin Timberlake's in the movie, so I saw it with my wife, and we both enjoyed it. It was a good compromise movie. So it's about baseball, and so I enjoyed it. But
Amy Adams is in it, Brad.
I think so, and that makes it all the worth the watch for me, at least.
That man ain't wrong. He ain't lying. So anyway, we apparently need to do an off-season baseball movie podcast and just do that with Coach Woody. And you know what? We would need Coach Toby for that too. We would need Toby in here on the movie.
I'll tell you what, that's a whole podcast in himself. If he didn't coach baseball, he could write reviews and critique every movie there ever was. I mean, it is
Siskel, Ebert, and Bicknell.
It is incredible movie knowledge from Coach Bick.
Anyway, God, we just stumbled onto that. Thanks, Don. Another senior, another gold standard locker winner, Craig Keuchel, which more affectionately known as Craig. Craig Keuchel came in as a catcher, winds up being sort of a stalwart in right field for us, has had some big moments, big bat, kind of become notable for those yellow work gloves. In fact, the picture from the graphic for this week's rankings had Craig on it. The first thing you notice is those yellow work gloves. So Craig had a big weekend again. Not only had senior weekend, then he got to go home to his walk-up song, "Take Me to Texas." Well, you took him to Texas, Coach Woody. You took Craig to Texas last weekend, and I think it sounded like he had a ton of family there all weekend long.
He did, yeah. I mean, Craig Keuchel is an incredible leader and person, and obviously baseball player. To your point, I mean, he came in here. He's a really good catcher, but he's played a tremendous outfield for us since making that move, and he's been a key part of our lineup virtually each and every game, and blue collar, really, really great student as well. I mean, he's, I believe we're going to look up in a few years and he's going to be a really successful chiropractor. I would imagine, or in a few years. I mean, he's really, really bright and sharp and does so well in school, and to do as well in school and that field and to be the caliber of baseball player he is a credit to him and his family. And, you know, we love coaching him and being around him every single day.
So I'm going to be going to Craig to have him fix my back or something.
Yeah, I could use a little bit too.
That'll work.
Yeah, credit to him because, I know last year we talked about it. Coach Bicknell said before the season that he hadn't played outfield before. And right before the season, they started working with him. And now I think this year at one point we put Craig in as a defensive replacement in outfield, if I'm not mistaken. So credit to him for improving and being a solid defensive outfielder as well. Another senior, been here 2.5 seasons. Carson Johnson played second base for his first 2 seasons. Played second base starting the season. Been asked to move around a little bit. Played right field. Left field and right field a little bit for us. Career over 300 hitter for the Niners. I think he had a big week. He had like him and Craig. They both had walk-off wins versus UTSA this season. Coach, talk a little bit about Carson Johnson and his versatility this year in the lineup. Yeah,
no, I mean, you said it. I mean, he's an extremely polished hitter with incredible bat-to-ball skills. He and Nate Furman have, in my opinion, the best plate discipline on the team as far as pitch recognition and swinging at strikes and taking balls, which sounds like a simple thing to do, but Carson and Nate do it better than really any hitters on our team, and that improves their on base percentage, and that improves his his contact rate and his exit velo when he does make contact, because he's hitting good pitches. So, and he's proven to be a really versatile defender for us. He's played second, he's played left, he's played right. And that versatility has been really helped us be able to match up a little bit more as far as who we're facing on the mound. And if we need to go a little bit more offensive with the lineup, if we need to go a little more defensive with the lineup, we can move guys around. And he's just a grinder. He's a ball player. If you really pay attention to the guys leaving the field, I know that we have a turf infield, but guys can still find a way to get dirty. And Carson's always one of the dirtiest players to leave the field every day. And from my upbringing, that's a sign of a good player, is what they look like when they leave the field. And so he's got that MO, and he's got some, he had the clutch base hit that ended up being he ended up scoring the go-ahead run to win the regular season 1 seed title. And he's just a ball player. He's worked extremely hard to finish his degree here this summer, and that degree is going to carry him very far, and he's worked very hard for it. So we're all really proud of him.
Yeah, awesome stuff. It's so great getting to know these guys, because there's so much more to them than ball players. I mean, their personalities and everything they do for the university outside of play baseball. Last but certainly not least, Todd Elwood. Now, I did some research on this. Rumor has it, I actually asked if there were any more Elwoods in the pipeline, and Dad Brent gave me an emphatic no. So everybody listening out there, this is the last Elwood to come through, and let's maybe a next generation. So in 20 years, maybe if you see another Elwood show up on the roster, something like that. But Todd Elwood, it seems like he's been here forever. And, of course, going back to watching his brother Brad play as well. The first recipient of a gold standard locker, Pure Gold Community Service Award nominee, career 302 hitter. I think his on base percentage is closer to 400 for his career. You're talking about a guy that just finds ways to do it. He gets on base. He makes plays in the outfield. whatever it is, whatever needs to be done, Todd's that dude who's kind of doing it. And we're definitely gonna miss his presence going forward.
Yeah, Todd's been such a huge part of this program for a long time, and he's an incredible leader in our locker room and an example of how to go about your business each and every day. And you said it as well. I mean, he's not a one-trick pony. He can beat you with the bat. He can beat you with his speed. He can beat you with his defense. He can beat you with his mind. He can beat you with a lot of he can beat opponents a lot of different ways. And
beat you with his arm. We saw that.
Beat you with his arm, and and so there's his defense. We don't win that first game without his defensive play in center field, game 1 in Houston. And his throw there, that big throw there a couple weeks back as well at the plate again. So, you can look at his stats and you can see that last week he was, you could say, oh, he was 2 for 13 statistically. But what doesn't show up is, all the other ways he can beat you. And so, he had a big stolen base, incredible and big plays in center field. And he just makes everybody in the dugout go and be better. So he's Todd Elwood's a winner. He's earned that gold standard title for a reason. He's leaving a legacy, and we are just thrilled to trying to take in every moment of being his coach as long as possible.
Yeah, awesome stuff. So there we go. We normally do a show there where we highlight our seniors. So we wanted to make sure and work that in. Appreciate all the contributions that all of you guys have made to the program and your time here. And we're going to miss you, but looking forward to seeing you in the stands. We've had a lot of former players coming back this year. So it's been really cool to see those guys in the stands coming back and still wanting to be a part of the program. Man, we start asking people to chime in the chat, and your boy Feet Davis, 26, Feet's all over it. He's asking Canes or Predators tonight. Is that hockey? Is he asking about hockey?
Yes.
What you got, producer Brad? Who's going to win?
Oh, Canes. I mean, you got to be for the Canes, right?
Oh yeah. I am a bandwagon Canes fan. When the playoffs start, I'm a Canes big time Canes guy.
There you go.
The Canes are they played. Was it last night? I think it was last night. So they're 1-0 in the series right now.
Moving
go.
on.
Go Canes.
Moving on.
I'm a huge Canadian, if you guys didn't know.
Are you now? I didn't even know they were.
When it comes playoff time, I'm right there.
There you go.
I didn't know they were playing. I whatever. Hockey. Kevin, let's talk about minor league baseball. We've got some exciting news to share there with some of our pro Niners making some moves this week. Why don't we talk about that instead of hockey? Sorry, Feet.
All right, yeah, we got some breaking news sort of today. Zach Jarrett was called up from AA Bowie to AAA Norfolk for the Orioles organization. He got to call up. I believe there was an injury in the outfield, and he got called up to play the AAA. Unfortunately, they just played a series in Charlotte last week, but they will be traveling back to. They'll actually be in Durham June 1st, starting a 6-game series. So hopefully things work out. We'll be able to go check them out in a couple weeks or so. But that was the big news today. Earlier this week, Reese Hampton signed a contract with the Diamondbacks, and he was assigned to the High A affiliate Hillsboro Hops. He made his debut last night, actually. So looking forward to following him this season. Josh Macheski, he's pitching with Hudson Valley. He's 2-0 now, and then with 2 relief appearances for the Yankees High A affiliate. And Colton Laws, he's down in Dunedin with the Blue Jays organization. He is still doing some rehab, I believe, on his shoulder. So that's your Pro Niners update, Coach. I know you pitched out there in the Northwest League a few years back. Any stories you could share with us about the Northwest League? It's actually the league formerly known as the Northwest League. They're calling it the High A West something now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have a good amount of stories, I guess. Some of which involve buses breaking down, so it's not new. It's not new to me.
Maybe you're the common denominator with the buses.
Could be. You know, we broke down, and did you know Oregon has as a desert? Did you know that? There's actually parts of Oregon that has a desert, and we broke down in an Oregon desert one time. So that was interesting. A lot of long bus rides. You know, you'd finish a game and take a 12-hour ride from Eugene, Oregon to Vancouver, Canada, and you'd get in at 10 a.m. and you'd pitch at 5 o'clock that afternoon and be a zombie, but you'd figure it out. But I got to play with some really great players. Corey Kluber was on the team with me there in Eugene, and Jeremy Hefner, who's now the pitching coach for the New York Mets. Matt Latos, pitcher in the big leagues for a while. A lot of big leaguers on those teams that I got to play with the 2.5 years I was with the Padres. So it was a lot of fun.
Coach, I'm going to just go ahead and tell you, I know more about hockey than I do deserts in Oregon. So I
didn't know there was a desert in Oregon until we broke down in one, but there actually is one. Yep, sure is.
Now I'm going to have to look that up and find out about that. All right. So good stuff with the Pro Niners. Zach, man, that's so awesome. He's just like, he's right there. He's one step away. So can't wait to see what he does with that opportunity. Let's move on. Let's talk Ask Coach. Let's do Ask Coach Woody. We got a really cool Ask Coach Woody question this week. This came in. There was actually some online banter this week. People have been getting their Grand Slam Club caps. And so our question this week comes from Dave Linder, longtime friend of the show. Dave just got his brand new Grand Slam Club hat. And it got him to thinking about bill shaping. Okay. Bill shaping. Dave wants to know, Coach, which method do you recommend for bending bills? The rubber band method or the plastic cup method? What do you go with?
I'm pretty much like show and go. Like I kind of just put it on and I'll kind of give it a subtle curve. I'm not I think there was a day when I thought I was Khalil Green, and I thought I was a middle infielder, like middle of the order bat guy with a flat bill, West Coast style. Some of them kind of naturally go that way, and you can't. Our CLT hat is a little bit more flat bill.
You're right.
But I kind of try to just have a little bit of a subtle curve, and kind of be in the middle, not too curved, but not too flat, just kind of be in the middle. Kind of what I go with.
See, a lot of the conversation was, Kevin, and I know you saw it too. It seemed like people were wanting like real bends, like a more aggressive bend in the bill. And these Grand Slam Club caps, I mean, these are really nice caps, and they're performance. So the bill of them is not solid. This is meant to be able to dry out easily right here. So there was a whole discussion about how do you bend the bills on these caps. Mm-hmm. And I follow with you, Coach. I kind of just wear them in.
Yeah, just kind of a little natural, and you start getting too curved, you start needing to throw like a fish hook on there. It gets a little starts getting a little. I don't want to say Eastern North Carolina because my mom's from Eastern North Carolina, but it starts getting a little Eastern North Carolina.
Kevin, is that not exactly what I said?
You did. You did. I know. When I was younger, it was more of a style to have more of a curve in it. I don't know if it was Dave Stewart used to have the really curved brim, and he used to pull it down real low so you could only see his eyes when he's on the mound. Very intimidating. I wanted to do that when I was growing up as well, but lately I'm the same way as you. Kind of just it is what it is. Bend it a little bit and roll with it. So.
I love it. All the things that we would have, like, go back 4 years, Kevin, and oh man, can you imagine the show we would have if we were like a top 25 program, maybe gonna, potentially host a regional. Think about all the baseball we would talk about. So far, we've done movies, and now we're talking about caps. All the important stuff you get here, folks, on Diamond Niners Weekly. But that's what we're here to do for you.
Good question.
So, Dave, There you go, Dave. He's kind of just a natural wear it in guy. So there's your answer on that. All right, let's transition ahead. Let's talk about get this. Let's talk about UNC Wilmington for a minute. We do have a 3-game series coming up with them. So we're going to do the Charlotte 49ers Grand Slam Club look at the week ahead. It's real simple. Join the Grand Slam Club, get a cap, get all kinds of cool gear. When you get your cap, you can bend the bill of that bad boy any way you want to. So, Kevin, why don't you introduce us to UNC Wilmington, and we'll let Coach Woody give us the lowdown.
All right. Let's see. UNCW. I think they've won 3 straight weekend series. This past weekend they clinched the South Division in CAA. They got a 29-17 record overall, 81 RPI. I think they are hosting the CAA tournament in Wilmington next week. And yesterday I watched a little bit of their game. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday they played at Chapel Hill. Watched a little bit of that. They lost to Chapel Hill. I think it was like 11-8, 11-9, something like that. But coming off a midweek at Chapel Hill, and then they're heading to Charlotte. So, Coach, what do you see in the Seahawks team?
They're a really versatile team. They can beat you a lot of ways. They're balanced. They don't really rely on one guy for all of their offense, kind of similar to how our offense is. They've got multiple guys with 5, 6 to 12 home runs, and they've got some guys with 10+ stolen bases, and they can always field really well. I mean, that's kind of a mark of a UNC, kind of the MO of UNC Wilmington each and every year. And whether it was Coach Scaff or now Coach Hood coaching, is you always know that they're going to play really good defense. They're going to have really good catchers and good infielders and good athletes in the outfield. So that's kind of the MO of them. And then their pitching staff throws a ton of strikes. They've got really good starters. So you're going to see really good starting rotation from guys like Landon Roop and Luke Jessel, Giselle, and others. So they've got they've got multiple guys with saves that can close out games. So UNC Wilmington, year in and year out, they are one of the best teams in the state, and they're consistently at the top of the CAA and competing in regionals. And so we're going to have a really, really good test here for us this weekend as we roll into the Conference USA tournament next week.
Their starting pitching definitely does stick out when you start taking a look at them. Just want to remind fans that the schedule is a little bit different this week because of everybody playing conference tournaments next week. So this actually starts tomorrow night. That's why we're on Wednesday night. So Thursday night, 6:00 at the Hayes. Anybody that wants to can go. Friday night, 6:00 at the Hayes, and Saturday at 1 p.m. at the Hayes. We put a pretty good plug in for tickets at the beginning of the show. I'll do it again right here. Buy tickets to go to the Hayes. Kidnap your neighbors, family, friends, whoever. Take them. Go to the Hayes. It looks like, Coach, and you're now into the part of the year where you've got to start thinking about. I know you're like, I can't think about next week, but you probably are at least starting to think about how do we want to manage things next week? How do we want to get through this series and be ready to go the conference tournament? You've set your rotation, and it's a little bit different. For one thing, there's 3 games instead of 4, but you're going with looks like you're going with Geesting with Spencer tomorrow. Bryce is going to get Friday, which Bryce is used to going on Friday, so he's still on Friday, and then Andrew Lindsay on Saturday.
Yeah, we're keeping Andrew and Bryce on their 7-day schedule. And, if we so choose next week in the conference tournament to bump them up a day, we can. We really like Spencer. I know that he struggled there with 2 outs in the first inning. It's a little unusual to strike out the first 2 hitters of the game and then to kind of, unravel a little bit like he did. But, we say it all the time. Once we see things from guys, we can't unsee it. Spencer has the capability of being an elite left-handed pitcher, and I'm probably most excited about his start tomorrow and seeing him bounce back. I feel really good about it, and he works extremely hard, and So, we're going to need him in the postseason, Conference USA and beyond. So good to get him back out there and get that next opportunity. And then we'll have Bryce on schedule and Andrew on schedule. And to your point, only a 3-game series versus 4. So should add a little bit more depth to the bullpen, and we'll be able to, kind of go a little bit more full throttle as getting guys in there and not having to save guys as much in certain spots like we've had to do with 4-game series. So we'll manage it a little bit differently.
Sure enough, by the way, your Eastern North Carolina comment did draw. Your mom wrote in and said, "Watch it, Coach." So you've been warned. Just be careful with that. You're getting pretty good week to week, telling us like what's going to be the big key. What's the key this weekend? UNC Wilmington. What's the big thing?
Well, I think our starting pitching is going to need to match their starting pitching, because that is certainly a strength of theirs. And that's the thing that jumps out to me the most. I think both of us have good bullpens. I think both of us have good offenses. I think both of us play good defense. We probably run a little bit more than they do on the base paths, but they still have some guys that we're going to have to really control. I think it's going to be our starting pitchers, really matching or besting their starting pitchers. If I had to say what's the aspect of the game to really key in on, it'd be, starting pitchers versus starting pitchers this weekend.
All right, Coach. Yeah, going into the weekend or this week's series, you have an injury update you can share with us, or anything to add from last week?
Yeah, we're moving the needle closer. McCabe's been back. He's been hitting for a couple of weeks now, but we're trying to really make sure that he's in a good place as far as feeling good and feeling ready. He had a pinch hit at bat at Rice and got him back in there in a spot where we felt like he felt good, and he's only gotten healthier and healthier this week as we've moved closer. So he's probably had his 2 hardest practices today and yesterday. So we'll see how he's feeling tomorrow, whether he's able to play first or DH or pinch hit. And we're just kind of taking him one day at a time, just because, he's an important piece of our team moving forward, and he's got an incredible future. So we just, we're trying to make sure that we put his best interests first and foremost. So Dom's doing well. Dom had surgery. He's recovering well. Spirits are good. I based on what I'm seeing from his work in the weight room already on the upper body side, he's probably going to be the most jacked outfielder in Conference USA next year. He is, whatever he can do, he's doing and then some. So, Dom's doing great. His spirits are good. That's really all kind of the updates I have as far as those guys.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
Yep.
So let's talk about the league a little bit. Everything's becoming more clear. What we really need to talk about is the setup, because league play has concluded. The Niners have the 1 seed. The league, RPI wise, the league has been at fifth. Has been at fifth for a lot of the season, flipping back and forth between 5th and 6th with the AAC. Right now, Conference USA is in 6th, and the AAC is in 5th, but the margin is very narrow. We're pretty much the only out of conference games left for the league. So we might be playing for a chance to move Conference USA back into 5th in the RPI this week, and depends on what happens. It's mathematical. I don't get math, whatever. Not that it really matters, but you can see the quality. The Niners RPI is currently rated at 20, according to Warren Owen, and the league has 6 teams in the top 100 and 4 in the top 26. And it's the same 4 that's been all year. So what this really sets up, and I do not mean, and Coach will correct me here, but I do not mean to leave anybody else out of this. But what we have going into the conference tournament next week is we've really got you've got Louisiana Tech, and Southern Miss on the western side of the conference coming out of there, looking strong, and Charlotte and Old Dominion coming out of the eastern half. And those four teams, not to exclude somebody like Florida Atlantic that can beat you, but it's going to be a dogfight in Ruston next week.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's I think it's important that we're playing these 3 games against Wilmington, because it's going to be such a strong opponent, and it's going to keep us, it's going to challenge us. And you guys know my stance. I like to play. I like to play, the most games against the best teams. That's kind of always been my stance. And so we'll do that this weekend, and that should prepare us as best as possible to roll into, like you said, a dogfight. And there's a lot on the line. There's hosting on the line. There's teams playing for to continue their seasons beyond next week. And I still look at it as we are one of them, because until that selection show is announced, I won't ever take anything for granted. And our coaching staff feels the same way, and our players feel the same way. So, we're tunnel vision on Wilmington, as you guys know, but then, to your point, I mean, we're going in there, with the mindset that our record is 0-0, and we're going to try to get after it against Middle Tennessee in that first game with the mindset that our record is 0-0, and try to finish that game and be 1-0 and go from there.
Looking down the bracket, and this all kicks off next Wednesday, the morning game, 9 a.m., that's 9 a.m. Central, so it'd be 10 o'clock local. And it does look like these games are all on ESPN Plus for fans, so you don't have to have Conference USA TV to see these games. Imagine that. Right out of the gate, Old Dominion has taken on Florida Atlantic, so they've got their hands full right out of the gate. The Niners have Middle Tennessee at 1:30 local Eastern time, approximate, on that Wednesday. Louisiana Tech in the afternoon evening session opens up with UTSA, and we know how dangerous they are, because they've not only shown us they can play, but I mean they've taken some W's from some other people as well. Southern Miss has a Western Kentucky team that we spent all weekend trading blows with. So this tournament's stacked. It really is. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, no doubt. You said it. Every single team really has a way they can beat you. There's no team, you know what I mean? Like there's no team that's in this tournament that doesn't have a way to beat you. I mean, Louisiana Tech's offense is really, really good, and they've got some of the best starters on the mound. Old Dominion's lineup, we all know, is well documented. They're potent. They're at the top of the nation in virtually every offensive category. Southern Miss is, pitching, to no end, it seems. Florida Atlantic is really since they left Charlotte, they've been winning a ton, and they just beat a really good Miami team 3-0 Tuesday night. So they're, Coach McCormick, those guys, they're gonna be playing their best baseball this time of year. UTSA has been offensively in fuego, and they've pitched it enough. Western Kentucky, you said it, their offense is really similar to Old Dominion, in my opinion, as far as just really veteran, and they can beat you with power and extra base hits. And Middle Tennessee, they might lead the country in stolen bases. So, there's and their pitching staff is towards the top of the conference in all categories. So there's no let up. It is going to be, you're going to be tested to no end, next week when we get there, but we aren't there yet. We've got to stay dialed in on Wilmington, because it's going to be a big test for us this weekend. We know that.
And oh, by the way, folks, Louisiana Tech and Southern Miss are also on that list that the Niners are on, that we started the show with. So they've got, not that they needed extra motivation, but they're in the hunt for a host bid as well. So this might be one of the more one of the more compelling Conference USA tournaments in quite some time, as far as all the different things that are on the line. I tell you, Kevin, take Charlotte's matchup off. We're gonna take Charlotte Middle Tennessee off the table. Okay. What game do you most want to see here?
And it's tough to beat that first one, right out the gate. Old Dominion or Atlantic. That's
and the fact that sets up our next opponent, right? So that plays into it as well.
Yeah. Two good teams that we've seen up close and personal. And we haven't seen Middle Tennessee yet. I'm curious to see. I see them in the national leaderboard as far as stolen bases. I know they steal a lot of bases and stuff. So, and their pitcher just won Conference USA Pitcher of the Week last week. So, definitely playing good at the right time for them. So
they have one of the best catchers. They have one of the best catchers in the country as well. So you combine the pitching with their pitching staff with their catcher. It's they're a good team. They're really good.
Kevin, I just want to you hold me to it on this, but I think that's the closest we've gotten Woody to looking to at least admitting that next week existed. that we have all week, right, or all season, isn't it? I mean, he admitted that next week exists.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting ahead of ourselves here, Nick. To be honest, though, we need to rein it back in to UNC Wilmington.
You know what? We've been ahead of ourselves for years. There's no doubt about that. So that's why Coach Woody's here to not only the credibility, but to dial us back in. So he always does that. So all right. I will say, I don't know what next week's schedule is going to be like, folks. We got to figure out how we're going to do this or what we're going to do about this or anything else. I can tell you this, yours truly and producer Brad over there are hitting the road on Tuesday, and we're heading for Ruston, Louisiana. Kevin may be joining us later in the week, dropping in. So we're going to be on the ground for you. Whatever happens, we're going to be there to see it. And we'll try to we'll provide our fair and balanced coverage as we always do. Charlotte baseball from Ruston, Louisiana. All right, let's rein it back in. Coach Woody, we always give you the final thoughts. We're heading into a weekend against UNC Wilmington. What do you want to say to Niner Nation? What are your last thoughts before we head into a UNCW series?
I don't think anything really profound, just other than we've touched on it all. Just it's really exciting, everything we've discussed. No getting around it. We've been going all the way back to the first podcast before we played VCU in 2020, and you think about all the discussions and that we've had since that first podcast, and now. I know that I joke about not wanting to talk about rankings and stuff like that, but it's cool. I'm happy for our guys and this program and everyone a part of it and what we're doing. It's a really cool feeling right now throughout the entire program. Our coaching staff feels it, our players feel it, our sports staff feels it, and it's exciting. So we just want to play as long as we can. This is a special group, and one of the things I always know as a coach in the back of my mind that every season has to come to an end at some point. So one of the things that motivates me right now is doing everything we possibly can to keep this group together and playing as long as possible, just because we're having so much fun. So that's really all I'll kind of say. I do want to acknowledge that one of the neat things I'm looking forward to this weekend is Saturday pregame. We're going to acknowledge and honor Patrick Wheeler, one of our seniors from the 2020 team who opted to move on from playing and continue his education. He's getting his master's here, and he's going on to some really great things. But he's finishing his master's degree here at Charlotte, and he's been doing work behind the scenes here. And so we will acknowledge Patrick Wheeler and his family this Saturday pregame at the Hayes. And that's going to be a cool moment.
That's really cool. See, this is the kind of stuff, in addition to movie reviews, this is the kind of stuff you just don't get anywhere else. Kevin, I saw a look on your face. Something made you think of something. What you got?
Well, that was a good segue. I just wanted to reiterate to the folks out there to go get your tickets to see this team this weekend. Come out and support the guys. I know we haven't been able to have a full house at the Hayes this year. I'd love to see it packed out Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, especially to go out and support Patrick Wheeler his senior day on Saturday. It's very important to these guys to have support in the stands, and I know it'll help them on the field. Another thing is Nick's mentioned this over already, the regional ticket pre-sale. Go out and get your tickets if you haven't already. They go on sale. They get the pre-sale to Charlotte folks is ending tomorrow morning, and then it goes on sale to general public. But you never know. You might help Charlotte earn a hosting spot if you go out there. We have a sold out stadium to sell to a committee. I know Coach Woody's doing the work on the field. The guys are doing the work on the field. We could do our part as fans and take care of those tickets before they go to sell to the general public. So get the word out, buy tickets, show up at the Hayes, support these guys. They deserve it. They work hard, and they're nationally ranked for a reason.
Let's get it going, Niner Nation. Let's get loud.
Man, we just ought to just drop off the air right now. That's just like it. I'm just so fired up. All right, let's wrap this up. It's time to get this. It's time to get this weekend started. It's time to go jump on UNCW is what it's time to do. We love hearing from you guys. Feel free to reach out. You're getting really good with the chat. Even if you're derailing the show, it's fine. It's cool. We love it. Reach out. Social media platforms. We love hearing from you guys. Questions, comments, just say, hey, talk Niner baseball, whatever. And more than ever, if you're old-fashioned like us, you could actually say hello to us at the Hayes this weekend because you know we're going to be there all weekend. We know you'll be there all weekend. So it's going to be like family reunion this weekend, right? So it's going to be a great thing. Drop by and say hello. We love meeting you folks and talking Niner baseball. Until next time, and I mean it this time, we'll see you at the Hayes.
Good night.